welcome to Big Conversations, Edwin.
Yes,
yes. People, really, thank you for honoring the invite.
Of course.
Short notice.
Yeah.
So I don't know where I want us to start from.
Yeah.
But I will let you introduce yourself. Why is you probably are more popular than other podcasts, but it has more an audience.
Yeah.
In places of people that do not know about you. Then they could get who you are from yourself. So yeah.
My name is Danze Edwin John. Yeah, recently I came to terms with the fact that I'm a John. So yeah, I will go with all three names these days. I used to do the Danze Edwin thing. I used to do the Dijan thing. Actually, that's where the Dijan thing came from. Just trying to hide that John.
That John in it.
Yeah.
That J now makes sense.
Yeah, so my, actually, funny thing is my sister asked me what does Dijan mean, and I told her, just think of all our names mixed in one. So she did the math and it just made sense. But yeah, I'm a proud Ugandan, very patriotic of late. I think it's the age. I love self-expression and being real, and this is one of my biggest mantras out there. So I do advertising, I do marketing, I'm a producer. I'm one of Uganda's only esports athletes right now, as of recent I signed up with a couple of major brands to do that thing. So I'm really invested in gaming. Surprising, it has come to at the tail end of my, I would say, advertising time, because it's something I've really been doing for a very long time. So I'm an esport athlete. I love digital marketing as well. I'm a father to an amazing daughter called Araya. Married to a woman, and yeah.
But this is you have to be specific.
Yeah, my friend, is like a thing that went around. So just in case I don't want to be one of those guys. Yeah, so that's me in a nutshell. Yeah.
That's really good, man. So first of all, I was talking to Joram Pereira for Joram Model Management. So he was telling me you gave him his first job at
Yo, man.
Design Agenda.
My guy.
Yeah. It was still digital, but that is how much the fact that I bring this up
shows
you how grateful he is. Right? The conversation we had.
No.
And this and many other people that I talked to, and they told me, actually I was working with Dijan, working with him here, and whatnot. Tell me about your mantra. How have you designed your life? How have you made yourself?
I won't lie, there's a bit of luck. That one I'm not going to lie to you. There's a bit of luck, but I think someone was telling me one time that yesterday I was at some kind of fire thing. I'd seen it for the first time at Indere Center, and a lady called Agatha said she was quite nervous about her accent. People used to make fun of her accent in Makere because she had a very strong Shea accent, very, very strong. And people used to make fun of her and etc. But now of late, most of the people that she surrounds herself with don't notice her accent because they pay more attention to what she says. You get it? So it made me think about myself, and I'm like, you know what? I've had a lot of inadequacies and shortcomings and etc. throughout my career that sometimes people don't notice, because when I put in the work, I Cristiano Ronaldo that thing, like mob. Like that's what I try to do, because I've never been that talented. I'm a very talented artist and I stopped drawing. But in terms of digital marketing, advertising, communication, radio, presenting, TV, it's just all been because someone thought maybe there's something you could do here, try it. So I get in there and I do it with all my heart. So I believe, in a way, that's my mantra. I believe in self-expression as much as possible. I would have never ever been able to do things like talking until I'd allowed myself to speak and get criticized, make mistakes, say the wrong thing, get bashed, and things like that. So that's kind of like my mantra.
Oh, that's good, man. That's really good.
Yeah.
The fact that you admittedly realize that
you
probably don't know so much, but you just go in and give it your best.
Yeah, I think that's like human beings are. I really
How do
believe
you feel
it.
about first person digital marketing? Though? So when you say you're giving it your best, okay, now let's feel specifically. How is it like? Do you feel like it's still at experimental level where everything is almost trial and error?
Yeah.
Or there's like proven stuff you can do. You know, when you Google or when you study,
yeah,
the things you do and you do them and you execute them sometimes. The results could be long term, yeah, but now like you.
I think I'll be candid.
Yeah.
First of all, the way we do digital marketing is baseline. It's textbook. And I say that because there's a lot of stuff that we have not allowed ourselves to get into. Being in broadcast right now, the fact that for the first time in a very long time, digital marketing is beginning to as if take over, because I'm the first CMO, Chief Marketing Officer, that was hired because of a digital marketing expertise. You get it? Because my predecessor, Pamela, I've worked with for almost everywhere I've gone. Fireworks, Brainchild, she's always been there. Like she goes somewhere, I go there. She goes something like that. So she told me this one thing one time, that just before she left, she told me, you know what, the world is changing towards this. Let me also educate myself on this stuff. She went back to school, learned digital marketing, programming, some a bit of web, things like that, because she was preparing herself for what's coming next in the next couple of years, which is the heads of marketing being digital marketers in the long run, because things have moved that side. I work in TV. People listen to TV. They don't really watch TV. They listen to TV. Unless something has broken or there's breaking news story, like the shooting, everyone went to their TVs to say what is happening here. But more often or not, we're here on our devices. But in overall digital marketing right now, we're skimming the surface. We are not really diving in deep. Look at Nairobi, which is my biggest interest right now. Last year I went to Nairobi and I visited Google and Facebook and BBC Africa, and I realized that I can't believe we're just neighbors, but these guys are at this scale and we are here. We are more social media marketing as Ugandans vis-a-vis digital marketing. There are a couple of experts out there that people I genuinely believe are experts. John and NSSF. I rate him a lot because he's pushed himself to a space where he has always been trying the other thing besides their social media marketing. Robert, with this programmatic stuff, I love how he understands platforms, commercialized content on platforms. Those two people, I look at them and I say they're not skimming the surface. They're trying to do something beyond it. So that's how I try to look at it. I'm very glad that I have had opportunities to deal with brands, international brands like Disney right now, Warner Bros, that have very specific things they look out for. They're going to come to Uganda and say, these are the things I want you guys to do for us in digital marketing. And they'll lay them out for you. And when you ask them, how come you don't want to be on this platform and this platform? They say, no, because that region, that market is not ready for this kind of thing delivered in that way. You get it? Don't know if you know Raymond Malinga. You see the way they're advertising this movie that they're releasing. Yes. It's not everywhere in Uganda, but it's for a deliberate reason. They know the premiere is in South Africa. It won't matter if we saw that content here in Uganda anyway. We will see it later when it matters. So that's the kind of thing. That's why I say we're skimming the surface as if MTN, Airtel, these guys are doing amazing stuff, but at group level.
I'll tell you now where I see where the problem where that actually really comes from, because you raise a really serious issue. The problem comes from how organizations are run around here. So there's like a big detachment from management, right? And people executing. So it's always hard to let experiments from like digital marketing. Because now, see, right now, currently, Twitter, Elon Musk released the whole algorithm for Twitter.
Yes.
So if you can say trigger AI and put in some retrospective lines about some code, it can show you how you arrive to let's say making a tweet trend or But when you explain ideas like that to normal day office people who are managing stuff, it's hard for them to let it play out like that. Right? So there's a disconnect between the actual management of how institutions are run, and this could be the reason why the Airtels are not doing what you said you saw in Kenya, because there's like a gap in what people studied, how they understand business, and what has transpired, like what has changed, what has come about.
True. And the crazy thing is, I didn't study digital marketing. I practiced. You spoke of Joram. I was lucky enough to fall in the fashion industry for certain reasons. Because, I went to really good schools. I went to Budo Junior. I went to King's College Budo. I networked with those people at that level, at that young age. But I left an impression on them as the funny guy, as like a playful guy, as a guy that could easily get bullied. I was quite small, but I made people enjoy themselves in school. Later on in life, I think because I was a gamer a lot, people found a need for gaming. So they used to tell me to bring video games and organize them at Garden City, whatever it is. Julius, back in the day when he was in the trenches, told me he got this young kid, Danze, and I used to do video gaming tournaments for him at Garden City. Then I used to take me around Buzz, Livers Rock, Buzz Tennis Awards. You go around both schools.
I probably just didn't know you, but I bumped into
you. By all means, trust me, because I go through my Facebook, I go through my Facebook photos, and I'm like, wait, this guy is this? Yeah, inevitably. So I used to do these things with the Buzz guys, and then Fireworks was handling Mirinda, and we're doing Mirinda Miss Teen, and they took me along to do video gaming, those things. So somehow they see that this cowboy has this idea of gaming, bothing things. Let's see if we can pull him. And now by that time, digital marketing is beginning to come up. There's a guy called Joseph Mokas. I work with him right now. He's the head of digital sales at Next Media. So Joe told me, Danze, meanwhile, this thing looks. It's interesting that you actually put in online registration between social media and etc. Maybe you can come and give it a go at Fireworks. I'd applied to Fireworks some time ago as a graphic designer because I did art school at Mark Keron. But I found my way into Fireworks advertising. I stumbled in luckily because the client said, I want this service at all Mirinda Mistin events. So they said, why don't we just hire this cowboy? Instead of him expanding and taking over our business space, you get it? So I get in there. As I get in there, like my first official interview was with Chamutetera. Now Cham is old school, man. He's street hard. He's tough, very very tough. So he battle-handed me. That's why self-motivation is very important because he imparted those skills in me. Now, rewinding back to fashion industry, our shop used to be at Garden City Sylvia Ori Boutique, and that's why it was quite easy for me to keep my stuff in her shop. I bring them down here. Now, we struggled a bit here and there sometimes. Sometimes things are really amazing. Okay, most times when I was there, things are really great because I found her at her peak. She was like godmother kind of getting, and she took a liking to the things I did, my work ethic, and I introduced her to social media marketing. Back in the day, we used to make money off social media sales, something that you're seeing that Jumias and what do right now. We just didn't have the capacity to make it something huge. So we used to trade with Miasho, we used to trade with Kotua Africa, and so many other people out there. The first African magazine that you saw going digital as part of that inception, but not pivotal because I was not tried and tested. My name was not known. The Olet Cresses, the Who's were the big dogs back in the day. The Annette Mbabazis. But that's what actually met Joram, because the last fashion event I did, I'd interacted with Joram before. I knew he used to do model casting, and I told him, dude, this is your space, this is your time, man. Do this fashion show, you're going to be out there. So there are Mitos, the Who's, all these big brands that you're seeing out there. I sit back and I said, you know what, I'm happy I contributed to that story in the smallest way. I took a photo, I posted it online social media for them, and somehow they're huge right now. So that's the inception of getting into digital marketing. It was a bit of luck, but the truth is, I invested my time. I got obsessed with Facebook. I hear about Twitter. I jump onto Twitter. I hear about what slowly and like, I mean, I'm here right now, and I didn't study any of that stuff. I've just begun to get accredited at Datamine, for example, going back to officially have the papers there, because truth is, at the end of the day, the positions that you hold will require you to network with certain people who discuss certain kinds of stuff, who have studied certain kind of things. So you should not be
mediocre.
Yes, you must have the credibility, otherwise they won't rate you. Yeah.
Interesting. So let's first go back into the technical bit, right?
Yeah.
How easy is it to combine both social media marketing and digital marketing in general? Like, how easy is it for you to tell, like, business sense? Say you're marketing a bar, right? And you trace social media marketing back to a beer sale. Yeah. How possible is that?
Again, let me use another live example I've done. At Fireworks Advertising, I was handling the entire Crown Beverage account online myself. One man. So, towards the end of my Fireworks days, there was a campaign called Salapulesa that we did. Yes. It was under the Crown thing. We're giving out Noahs and etc. So we went for this one meeting one time, and we're discussing budgets and what. And I'd always had this frustration in me that every time we go to discuss budgets with a client, I always get 5 million shillings. That's the budget they're giving digital. On top of the retainer that they used to pay at the agency, you would hear TV, 200 and something, radio, this amount, you get. Then digital, how much media buying do you want to do? I'm like, well, Tichi, I'd put a budget of like 18. They say, okay, no, we'll give you 5. But then I'm like, these guys really don't see the impact. Then I realized I had never shown them that the dollar that they're investing online can become an actual return on investment. So the idea I got was this. I used to do voting contests for Miss Uganda, Mirinda, Miss etc. before, but they were not bringing in revenue. So I come up with this conversion idea with a friend of mine. It's called Perry Aman. We decide, since they're doing a literal under the crown, buy a soda, check under the crown, get a code, input it, and you could be able to win. I said, wait a minute. People do this in gambling. I do this when I'm playing gaming. Why don't I actually design a game for a beverage company to give them direct conversion? So I said, fine, I go and pitch a Salapolesa game. By that time, there were very few game devs in the country, but Perry figured it out. So we build a game, same mechanics, buy a soda, get a code, input code into game on Facebook, on social media, and you could win instant. They gave me about 6 phones, some decoders, more product, etc. The investment they put in of 20 million shillings, the return was over 100 and something million, because we chose to take the offline world into the virtual space for actual conversions. Now that was just on social media. Back in the day, remember the thing of smear names on cans and what? Yeah. That was an example they used on the internet. So now when I did that one thing and they realized that the power of social media or digital marketing is beyond just leads creation and more of conversion. If you actually do think and want to do this, it will work. But it heavily depends on the campaign that is pushing this agenda, because not all of them will work. But something like a UTC, under the crown kind of thing, will definitely work. If you have cultivated a community of followers for that brand that can actually very highly engaged. We used to do a lot of giveaways of t-shirts, movie tickets, etc. So they were used to winning stuff. For the first time, we made them pay to just buy a soda, come and potentially win a lot of things. So that's the one thing that I'm going to give as an example. When you bring it to a bar, for example, I believe, again, something I saw from Nairobi and Germany is influencer marketing in those spaces is actual business, of they give you a sales target. Whereas here locally, they're going to ask you for, I did work for ABSA recently, and they just wanted awareness. And I asked them, how much are you paying me this amount? I said, in my head, I'm like, that's the bare minimum you want from me? No worries. Let me invest. I put in time, I put on social media. But then I said, the guilt in me just told me, go to ABSA, do an interview with them, and things like that. The influencer marketing that I saw in Nairobi and Germany was based on actual sales. I looked at their reports. They're going to pay you this amount of money. These are the expectations you have. But your key KPI right now is, this is the volume, this is the percentage of the increase in volumes of sales you're bringing. So if I'm on my IG, I'm putting my discount code inside there. If I'm on my YouTube channel, I'm going to tell you, go in the link in the description for special. Or I'm going to actually go and invest in actual merch that has something that's scannable, printable, in case you don't want to be intrusive to your audiences. And people are actually buying your sponsors' products direct. So that's the kind of thing that I saw. And every time I sit back and people are talking about influencers, I'll be like, we will get there. That's why I never judge. I say, I know we'll get there, but right now it's not. We'll get there.
How do we get there? How do we build influencers to that level? Because you see, it's quite funny. See someone like Anita, right? She's a big brand, but you still can fail to find conversion. True. Without doing so much.
True. Yeah. Not all influencers are going to give you value in terms of revenue. That's the truth. But the best thing to do when you're investing in influencers, it won't be the same model across the board. But if you're a beverage company, if you're a service, if you're a product, your expectation should be conversion in terms of revenue. If I have 30,000 followers and I only convert for you 500, I've done an exceptional job for you. And you'll always trust me because you know this guy is going to sell you 500 beers. Always. That's a trusted kind of influencer. And that's the thing people don't see. I see people with about 300,000 followers pushing a product. And I always ask myself, like that tweet I put out every end of year, have you made money from your Twitter this year? And I keep quiet. Because me, I know deep down, I achieved that KPI with a thing that I did. Look at UBL influencers, on Alvarez influencers, who have amazing campaigns. And people, the bare minimum they do is hold up bottles, be in photo shoots with bottles, and things like that. I ask myself, who doesn't know Tusker Light?
Thank you.
Who doesn't know Dial Special?
True. Like, it doesn't need the awareness.
Yes. Yeah, so I'll sit back and I'm like, that's why these digital marketers in these agencies, I ask myself, guy, honestly, you have a budget, this big budget of let's say 60 plus million, and what you're doing for this client is just eyeballs. Get it? Unless it's the mandate, unless it's a thematic of that client, it's understandable. But I don't believe there's any business out there that is designed on just awareness. Period. Because that's how you survive. You know these brands that are suffering right now that really want to tap into the market and make money, but they can't, and that's what they call it, big influencer, who to do what, bichi. One of the best influencers I like who actually do conversion is APAS.
Yeah, I've seen what he's doing with Jumia.
Exactly. Discount codes, make people interested, things like, exactly. Now that's the thing I do for Mountain Dew. I don't post about Mountain Dew a lot, but I make sure my influence in the gaming space is going to make sure people are buying. Like the last thing I did, a tournament I did, is you simply had to go buy soda. I've already worked out a partnership with Call of Duty or PlayStation. They've given me these PlayStations. The brand is benefiting from the money that they are making off the sodas for guys to come and play this tournament. Get it? That's the kind of thing I see. And sometimes the influencers bite off more than they can chew. You get it? Like again, I'll mention a lot of the alcoholic beverage influencers who do this stuff, and I look at someone's numbers and I'm like, if I had those numbers, the level of influence that these people have based on the comments they get, I would have done this thing this way. Because the thing is, all of them never ask their audiences, would you buy this? How much would you want this? For example, if of, let's say, these new products that UBL has launched, no influencer decided to say, what's the best price for this thing? That research from the poll that you've put up is going to be a lot more beneficial to the brand manager than you posing with the bottle. You get it? Things like that.
Whose role is that? Does the influencer have to know knowledge what they're supposed to do, or it goes back now to the brand and their marketing team and getting the influencers as well? Because then I was going to take you to video content. I see a lot of them switching up to video content, right? And I am trying to invest there as well. Okay, fine. This is a necessity. They want, if bars want to sell nights, they want to show the ambience, they want to show the promo and whatnot. And I see influencers about it. Ate, come to this place. There's that thing on TikTok that is now popular. Ate, I've come. So there's that.
Truth is, again, I would say the bare minimum. Me, I look at myself, and I like to say this a lot to my team. My situation is very different from other people's situation. I don't want you guys to work hard because you have a lot to prove. Because me, I'm where I am right now because I've had a lot to prove to my family, to my circles, and to myself most importantly. I am my number one critique. Now, if I'm given an opportunity to, let's say, rewind 5 years ago when I was 10 years ago when I'm in an advertising agency, the onus would have been on me to teach influencers what to do. It would have been on me because digital at that point it has just come and it's growing. I'd been doing influencer marketing for so long. This Wheezy boy that was at Swangs, I plugged him. He was one of the first guys I made to do influencer marketing for Buzz. I made sure he got that job at Buzz. I recommended him because I knew there was something in that guy that was going to make him a certain way. So at that point in time, the onus would have been on me to teach the influencers that I'm hiring to do conversion-based influencing. But let's fast forward right now. How many years have passed? YouTube has become accessible. Data is very cheap. You can simply switch on. We've had a lockdown whereby that was your that was your opportunity for you to go online and see, hey, this is what people are doing here. Meaning, you kind of have no excuse right now for not knowing how to do conversion-based influencer marketing. It's honestly not practical. One of the biggest influencers out there in the UK right now is KSI. I've been following him for a very, very long time. UK-based influencer. He's part of a group called the Sidemen. Now, these guys have been doing the basic influencing for a long time. In their videos, you never hear him saying this video is brought to you by blah, blah, blah. No. Background will have a PlayStation, there'll be an Xbox, they'll be doing something, they'll go and shoot from somewhere, they'll say they're going to watch this movie, their videos will reference certain kinds of things. Get it? Now, recently, they started doing this thing of one question go, whereby I go, open up my YouTube, I'm there, fans are live, you ask me one question. The guy is asking a question, I answer it, or I do a challenge that they want, but in there, I'm dropping brands and things like that. Now, fast forward, he's doing boxing right now. This guy was just a normal YouTuber, a gamer. Now he's doing boxing. He's doing boxing with DAZN. DAZN is going to take over what Sky used to have, which is pay-per-view boxing. He's the official face. He has brought all the influencers and he does misfit boxing right now. That brings in all multiple YouTubers that box. And they're making revenue and they're making DAZN, the streaming platform, known. Now DAZN is streaming, official streamer for the Champions League. Get it? Now that's actual conversion-based influencer marketing. But not this thing of, hey, I'm wearing this t-shirt to do what? That stuff is accessible on the internet. You simply have to know what you're watching to get it. Let me look at unpopular opinions, for example, what they do. I was engaging Kemi one time, and I told her, there's a campaign I was doing, that one of pay content creators. I was doing that thing because I was doing research. I wanted to understand, why is her head at when it comes to content? The conversation I had with Raymond Kahuma versus the one I had with Kemi was divergent. And it was interesting to know where Raymond's thought process is, where her thought process was. And I came to a conclusion that given the opportunity, Ugandan creators or video content creators or influencers can easily blow up and become huge given the right opportunity. And the right opportunity means YouTube coming to do something here, TikTok coming to do something here. There are a few that will take the opportunity with both hands. Even yourself, you see what you're doing with your podcast. Because I go through and I say, how many people came to view? What are the comments? What is the conversation? And I'm like, if these clips were just carried by YouTube Creator Studio, they would go wild. You get it? So those are the things. That's where Kenya is, where it is right now. Exactly. So backtracking to whether it's possible for you to do something as an influencer, yeah, very possible. The thing is knowing the right thing to do, because I had mastered that Twitter algorithm to the dot. It has evolved. I went quiet, I haven't subscribed to Twitter Blue, nothing. I'm just sitting back, consuming the content, understanding what it means, because I'm experimenting with my own profile. The YouTubers we have right now who have insisted on YouTube, you guys who are still on YouTube right now, do not leave YouTube. Because I've been to Nairobi and I've been to Germany and I've understood how the programs are running. And I've noticed one thing, that they are about to become big. Whenever they do that in a region, they do it with the people that have consistently been there. They never look for new creators. So I look at people laughing at Raymond and I'm like, you wait, you're going to see. I look at people looking at you guys, your views and what, I'll be like, you wait, the algo is going to open up here, because our cost per view is quite low. The moment it opens like this, those are the people that benefit. And that's what happened to that group. You look for them, Sidemen, Beta Squad, all those guys. That's how I look at it. And that's why I keep on saying, our digital marketing right now, we're just skimming the surface.
What do you consume, Danze?
In the bar, over.
No, let's YouTube. What content do you consume?
Yeah, so
what informs your perspective to these things?
Okay, so one, academically, first of all, I was never a giant. Period.
But you're still good.
Exactly. Yes. Like I realize, I'm just glad that my dad was so tough and obsessed with his names, school names and that he threw me in the deep end. Because I found clever kids who are insanely smart, additional math, which me as well as green, performing poorly. When it comes to like my art, A's all the time. Athletes running, which I have a record in Budo for 400 meter relay, not yet broken. Those are the things I was into. I was never the cool kid, I was never the what, but I was surviving. You get it? Because of that fact, I was never really good at reading. Like I could read, but never be interested in knowing what I've read. But allow me to listen, allow me to watch. I will ace. That's why I believe strongly. Had I been given a STEM education like I'm seeing right now, I would have been anyone who I'd ever wanted to be. ever. So the things I consume are based on how I'm evolving, how I'm growing in my life right now. When I was at Sylvia Were an African Woman, by that time I was very into music, fashion, those things. A lot. Maurice Kira's first thing that he did at Serena, I did that. This guy is Quella, I did that thing. Like I was into all those things. Then I said, okay, now the life has thrown me in an advertising agency. I need to study digital marketing or understand social media. I invested myself in those things. Then that brought me into gaming spaces, collaborating with other people, digital magazines, because we knew African Woman was transitioning. I suggested it a year before. They resisted. Then the economic thing happened of when Sylvia and Thingy were separating, and they had to keep New African Magazine and African Magazine. So we moved that space. Currently, my number one source of information for me is YouTube, because I'm always there. I looked at my YouTube watch time and monthly, and it's very high. Watch Mojo to what? I watch a lot of stuff. Movie reviews, bitchy. I'm always inside there because I want to understand what these new rockstar guys are doing. How are they? Like Patreon. I found out about it a long time ago, but then I'm like, I won't be consistent. But I'm happy the lockdown came. It was the pro and cons. It had its pro and cons. But the lockdown showed me that, guys, if you're creative and a creator, there is no way of failing to survive if you actually have the passion of creating all the time. My problem, I know it is consistency. I'll do YouTube. I can do a very good YouTube channel, but I won't be consistent, so I won't bother. I won't even get into do anything fancy. I won't do that stuff. When I'm producing content, then I was doing the Another Round show. I had the passion, but I knew I was going to burn out because the love was there, but inevitably the drain was going to come because the content was never going to work well for Ugandan broadcast. You get it? So we ended up reversing back to we're doing this for NBS. Let's do it the way they want. Put it up. You're shifting us to this time, Sunday. Okay, we'll do content for Sunday night, things like that. So I consume a lot of video content. Surprisingly, I'm bad with TikTok, but I'm very good with the algorithm on IG has evolved closer to TikToks right now, if you noticed. But I do a lot of video content. I do a lot of movies. I do a lot of TED. I do things like that. I like to listen to these conversations, bits and pieces on your channels and multiple other channels, because there are some people that intrigue me so much. I find them fascinating, and I know they will say that one thing that will click and it will stay. Because I can't read very well, I'm very good at what? Yeah. So that's really what I consume.
How you talked about watch time, right? Screen time, and you get involved. How do you draw the line between being addicted to the phone and actually just using the phone? In this case, phones, gadgets. With also all the distractions, the notifications. Of course, you can read all these. True. Turn your phone to grayscale, and then you do it for like 3 days.
Then you get back.
And then you get back.
No, my rule on that stuff is quite simple. Don't try to precondition yourself. It's too late. If you have a certain device right now or certain types of content right now, it's too late for you. There's nothing you're going to do to change that. You're going to lie to yourself for a while. You're going to lie to yourself for a while.
When I tried to quit Twitter and what was like, this is just torturing my
exactly.
mind.
You just need to quit certain habits. For example, like right now, recently, okay, not recently, for like a year and something, when I get into the house, I'm going to put one of my phones on airplane mode and leave it. Meaning I'm not going to be on Snap, I'm not going to be on IG, I'm just going to chill. It took me a while to know that by 7 p.m., let me leave Twitter alone. Because if I get on, I'm going to be that guy who goes to the bar and I'm always my device because I've been preconditioned to do that. So I have moments where I switch off, but that doesn't mean I'm off the platforms. It means I'm not diving into football, movie information, gaming stuff. No, I'm just there to see the timeline, go to my notifications, and I'm out. Because truth is, right now, the best way to network is actually being on the social networks. Sure. Because you're going to find an amazing conversation and you interact. Right now, what I'm doing is, because of my position currently, is I try to take the conversation away, I inbox, things like that. It gives me a lot more peace of mind versus promising myself I am going to get off social media for this number of days. It works for some people, but again, the reality is, in reality, it's not working. You're back. There's a YouTuber called Corey Kenshin. Yeah. I've been following him for a while. Corey disappears for about 9 months and comes back. Ever since he started disappearing, he was on 4 million subscribers. Currently, I'm going to say we are on 16 million subscribers strong, because we are samurai. That's what he calls us on his channel. We are samurai. We always stay there to watch his content, because we know Corey needs a break. He needs to first log off and come back. Get it? And every time he comes back, he does his 45-minute talk of why it's important to disconnect. But the truth is, he knows while he was away, we were on his channel, repeating his content, watching all the videos we hadn't yet watched, and all those things, recommending it, being in the comments. It's something that's quite unique, and that allowed me to understand that if this is your bread and butter, your device, if it's 2023, you know that iPhones have become cheaper, though they look expensive. If you wanted to, you would save and get it. I mean, if you're an influencer and you paid 500k per gig a month, you're going to go and tell a guy, in 2 months' time, I would have paid up the iPhone and things like that. You get it? So for me, I do not disconnect from the web. I find moments that allow me to switch off. For example, right now when I'm with family and what I'm not going to travel, I need to see, I'll let it go. I'll try and focus on them. I'll look at them. When I'm at office, I try to have actual conversations, because it becomes harder for you to network with people if it's. I've never been that guy who likes to jazz, get it? Like I notice every time I would be in the bar chatting with someone, I grab my piece, I look at it, I go to Twitter, I obsess, then this person loses that value I would have given them, or the value. And also it's important that the people you surround yourself, like meeting habits right now, because of the meetings I have to be in right now, the rules are quite simple. Put the phones there, don't be on your laptop, etc. It has allowed me to actually hear how someone speaks and understand their level of intelligence. Again, things like that. So, but the reality is this, guys. Even if you're off the internet, someone is mentioning you. Someone is doing what? You're not disconnected. You're there. And again, I've begun to say, and I've seen this on YouTube somewhere, there is a weird coincidence on WhatsApp status right now. You know you can't mention someone on status. How come you're going to see the content they've posted about you out of the blue?
The blue.
Thank you. So,
that is so true.
Whoever is watching this, whoever is watching this, whoever is listening to this,
the people you ignore, you just go and you click that one status where it is you.
Thank you.
Even posted a picture.
I thank you very much. So it's not a coincidence. These guys have designed the most intelligent bit of AI right now in the world. Social media has over machine learned, and also you've been preconditioned to a point of the discussion you've had with someone, whatever it is going to make you open your WhatsApp, go to the status, and what are the chances is that one specific status you've clicked on that had your content or something, you get it? So that's why I decided to not fight the system or fight the machine or the man. I know no matter what, because these waves are moving around us, you can't win. You dictate things that you're going to be part of. Like, for example, you'll never see me do a photo dump. Why would I do that? Why do I need to give the algo a pattern of how my year goes? That's way too much knowledge you're giving the AI, the algorithm. Yeah.
How do you feel though about the automation and the mix? Is there still going to be value? The one thing you mentioned and made a lot of sense to me was about the influencers, right? How maybe because it's then hard to automate the actual influencers in these places when you're doing things, but everything else can be automated. The copy, the what,
yeah.
You cannot be that really now smart kid who is thinking of things that, unless you're just doing real-time content, like something like maybe Palace was beaten alien skin and you have something but that's once in a blue moon. Yeah,
and the AI will always outdo you if it wanted to. Yeah, true. Like you're seeing these automated bots on Twitter right now. And I love what Elon Musk has done. That's why I'm taking time to study the entire thing. Is you're going to find multiple accounts that are just there that are automated and are learning how to respond to you. Like when Snap unleashed their AI, interacted with it, it was fun and funky, but then you get bored and leave. But people don't know they're interacting with bots on Twitter right now. They have no idea that these accounts are actually automated responses and things like that. The truth is, AI has been around for a minute, and I'm lucky that I'm a gamer and I've experienced these things for a longer period than most people have. And I work a lot with tools. Real data is something that I've invested in for a period of time, from fireworks all the way now. And I'm glad that I am in a company that has the resources to give me those tools that allow me to understand how to raise the heat on social media and reduce it. Like when I was still in Top Bloggers group, I used to tell guys that most of the things that they post, I left the group. I asked a question for a very long time. I used to ask them, what's the purpose of this? And they know I never used to answer me, and I just told myself, disconnect. You have a reason to leave now because you've given yourself an opportunity to understand why this community is important. The value wasn't matching my expectations, you get it? And I believe that AI, when ChatGPT came banning that point, I told guys, AI is not here to take your job. It's here to improve your work. But it can take your job if you've just been lucky the entire time. For instance, you've talked about Palazzo and alien skin and etc. It could be a stunt, it could be real. As an influencer, have you maximized this? Go ask ChatGPT. What would you do? Would you do a celebrity boxing fight? Would you do what? Things like that. It will give you suggestions. Then come back and relate to yourself and ask yourself, is that relevant for Ugandan market? How will this affect my community of people? Will I look like I've done this on ChatGPT? Because right now, if you copy and paste on ChatGPT to Twitter, it will show that you actually copied and pasted from ChatGPT. Elon Musk is a petty guy. But AI is here to improve your work. Like, I've never been the greatest graphic designer. But right now, you can use Adobe Illustrator so easily because the lines and framing and layering and everything else is easy right now. PowerPoint presentations. If you paid the $4 a month for Microsoft PowerPoint, right now it auto-designs the presentation for you. But it won't tell you how to outline your points. It will tell you that this was probably the best layout because you've told it the kind of person you're presenting to. If it's a CEO, a golfer, a footballer, an old person, they will tell you use 60% more visual versus text. Things like that.
So you're burning a lot of time and you're freeing up your mind.
Exactly. So that's what I tell like my team right now. When Next Media said they're doing the digital transformation thing, it meant that we are trying to move into the digital era. Because we've been lagging for a long time. Because when they took all of us to experience these other markets and regions, we understood that they've been doing this thing and they're not making a lot of noise about it because it's the norm for them. It's normal. That's where they are right now. 5G, crazy internet speeds. For us, it's something big because it's something that we're now realizing that, you know what, the Afro mobile app is going to become a lot more important versus the TV that you see here. So that big building you're seeing Next Media, inevitably over a period of time, it will become invisible because people will be consuming that content directly here.
Take me through Next Media though. Does Next Media as NextCom?
Yeah.
NextCom. So there's like a data storage center.
That's Hillcom.
Okay.
So in Uganda there's Raxio.
Yeah.
Official data center. And now there's Hillcom. Similar. Raxio is big, large scale. Hillcom is going to do small scale, making sure that that's where Next Media's data sits. But we still collaborate with people like Raxio, UCC, Google, Amazon, etc. We still do. Yeah. So that's what Hillcom does.
Then the digital marketing bit.
Now, NextCom was a digital marketing agency. Was. Now, what we did, what we were doing before I took over as the general manager was we used to try to be like Blue Flamingo, the Who's, those people, Zeus, blah, blah, fireworks. But as much as it's possible, based on our skill set, resourcing, and all those things, and the direction that we're taking, it's not practical. Look at a company called influencer.com out there. It specializes in influencer marketing. But not everyone gets in. They are the ones that go and look for you as an influencer and pitch to you and try to sign you. Once they have you on board, they open the doors to the most amazing brands out there. I don't know if you saw the latest event on Adweek that had the CEO, the chief marketing officer from NFL, Google. It was the baddest lineup of panelists I've ever seen in my life, and all of them were saying this one thing. Everyone in their talking points had new influencer marketing, new age of influencer marketing, and I asked myself, they were at that high level. They are going to this higher level. What exactly are they going to discuss? I tried to get into that event, but of course, it was tight space, Adweek, which are those things. So NextCom is basically a hybrid company that is also understanding itself. It's supposed to do the new things in media right now that haven't been done yet. That's why we focus a lot on the Afro mobile app. That's why we're trying to build a new era of journalists like Canary. You get it? As opposed to the Seranjas that used to be there who go on the news and talk. But now, you see what Canary does is, goes to Twitter, tells you about what he's covering, things are breaking, he involves the brand, goes on air, he'll reference his tweet and things like that. Now, we realize that that agency doesn't exist in Uganda, so let's be that one for media right now. So currently, we are supporting agencies like Saladin, Tibwa, Fireworks, Brainchild. We are working with them on their projects because we believe we have this USP that no one else has, because as we are lucky enough to have been positioned at Next Media. Beyond that, without the resources, without the technical ability and the guidance and things like that, it would have been very difficult for someone to design that kind of agency.
Do you take on other businesses apart from Next businesses?
We do. Right now, how we repositioned it is our biggest client. We treat Next Media as a client right now. So I'll have status meetings. I'll have review meetings with the general manager of NBS, for example, with the general manager of Next Radio. I'll have meetings with them and tell them these are our go-to-market plans, etc. We intend to handle your business. They give us targets, things like that. We're treating them like clients. Outside that, we've worked with UN Women, all the UBL brands, all the Nalbra's brands, and things like that. All the amazing campaigns you have seen, like the Treasure Hunt, we were part of it. We couldn't take the shine because. No, Treasure Hunt for Nairo. With Thingy. We were part of it. The website hack, we were part of it. Get it? Because remember, end of the day, it's going to break on NBS. Who gives them the right to do that? It was NextCom. So we want to be the behind the scenes guy who has powerful platforms that they can leverage and share out there. So that's basically what NextCom does for you at the moment, and what we've rediscovered ourselves in that sense. Because right now, it's impossible. Okay, it's next to impossible to go into the market and say this account is at Tibwa, but I'm going to go and take it away and put it this side. No, those guys have built relationships over time. They have connections with the actual stakeholders of these companies. People are used to them. Whenever there's a pitch, sometimes I feel like it's formality because they have to do it because of procurement and because the law says so on URA. So you do put out a pitch, the account still goes back to the same exact agency it was. Get it? Why? Because they built relationships over time. The best way for a new agency, for example, briefcase agencies and things like that have come up, is just go and try and eat a piece of the pie from those accounts by providing value to the agency that owns that account. That's the best way to do this digital marketing or advertising thing right now.
My next move is to just sell them concept of these reels and videos and just
and put like your clips, for example. Beginning of the clip, this is brought to you by, you'll find out at the end. So that someone watches the clip, but towards the end of it all, it shows the sponsor of the clip. You get it? Now there your agency will say, this guy has value for me. They won't be cagey saying, does this guy steal my business? Because I mean, it's their livelihood. You take the business, they are going to get broke and
So one time you tweeted something, you tweeted about not buying accounts that are already developed, right? Something I don't really agree with somehow. With the new algorithm, I agreed with it then, but now I don't agree with it.
Now I'm happy that you brought that up.
Yeah.
So, again, we've experimented.
Yeah.
We went and got an account that has already existing followers, and then NBS Sport. There are two NBS Sport accounts if you're careful.
Yes.
You'll find that there's NBS Sport with one S, and there's NBS Sport with two S's and one. So we said let's see if this will outrun this other one. We used to put the same content on the same. Now I'll give an example of again, no shade or anything. NRG bought a Twitter account from someone. Recently you've seen the tweets that have been there. That's just a disadvantage, number one. Secondly is the algorithm on Twitter is so technical. The best word would be rigid, that it's told to do ABCD. If it realizes that this conversation has been, it's like when you have water, then you pour in oil, the oil will go on top. That water will never go. Even if you shake or do what, it's still going to be there. That's exactly how the algo is. That community, you will never get a lot of followers. So you'll never get a lot of views and comments. from that account compared to the smaller organic one. And because we experimented with it, I speak with much confidence. Yes. Now the other thing that I find quite amusing is this. Recently, NRG launched their morning show. It was never going to trend. Right? Yes, it was never going to trend had they used influencers. The influencers they used had to be spamming the hashtag of the morning show. And I told my boss, day one, it's going to last one day. And it did. One day, the trend never came back. Then we did an interview with BPO on NBS breakfast meeting. And I told these UBC guys, who are the list of accounts you have? They had exactly 6. I told them, do your content like this. You will see that your trend will come. In the new algorithm, they trended for 2 days without getting influencers. But because they were feeding Twitter with a conversation from Uganda that hadn't existed yet before. That's why BPO in Uganda was trending for 2 days. They didn't have a bunch of influencers. So me, I'm restudying this algo for Twitter and IG. Now on IG, it's even worse. There's a time when I was chatting with Matthias on IG, and I was asking him, why am I getting followers that I don't, like one day I'm on 5,000, then I grew to 18K in a week. I was very concerned. So I asked him, then he told me, right now there's a group of people that come to you, they send the virtual followers to your account, then they'll DM you and tell you, by the way, you can actually go to 10K if you just give me this money. So I told him, I'll wait. Then he actually reached out to me and I told him, oh, so this whole Bitcoin NFT virtual thingy is this thing. They own they own clusters of virtual accounts that they send to you. So I asked him, is there a tool that can make them go away? He said, unfortunately at that time, no. Just go and unfollow all of them. So I had to get back from 26K to 8,000. I was not posting on IG for over a month because I was unfollowing. So these things just make me realize that there's a guy, you should actually Google him. It's called Gray Jabesi. Gray Jabesi is big on Bitcoin. He was in the country last year. He came and it's Gray. He lives in Dubai. He lives a very lavish life, man. Shout out to him. He has an amazing YouTube channel. You should check out what they do. So he told me the reason that's why he will always be on amazing yachts, driving the best cars, flying first class and all those things, and coming to Uganda and looking like a god, is because he has understood that virtual currency, that side is already a big thing. It will take time for us to adapt it here, but for him, he's going to earn big on it until maybe it crashes or something. But he's making a killing from it. And he told me he can make anyone reach 1 million followers by just pushing them to their account.
Do those followers, are they of value?
Yes, they are real. They are real.
That's the thing again now with Twitter, right?
Yes.
With the new Twitter, once you go blue and you have bought numbers, you enjoy the services of
For him, he doesn't care as long as you've paid the service. It's like the Ascari you've gone to park somewhere and you've agreed to give him his car money. He'll protect your car. No one will mess with it. You'll go and vibe at whatever event it is, come back. Boss, you box, give them the money and go. That is Twitter. Right now, you terms and conditions are clear. I went and read that clause. It is all inclusive for anyone who can pay or not pay. But there's a high chance that you who hasn't paid, you don't have their name, it is that someone else has paid.
But you also realize engagement has trickled down a bit.
If you're not verified, you're going to suffer. Me, I've seen. I used to grow by saying, I said, this chiman, but I said it's okay. Because
you are my prime example.
I now have one viral tweet a week. Those days I would have 3, 4, what?
Yeah, like literally everything you would go. You go back 10 minutes, his engagement, it has reached somewhere,
yes.
but now I was like,
thank you, because that's why they put me on pressure. They put me on pressure at office and told me, verify all the accounts. And I told them, guys, wait. That NBS thing. I told them they've taken the blue tweet. Relax. This guy is the best businessman out there. True. He knows which accounts are important to him and those that are not. Either when they announced that the 1 million follower accounts are getting their ticks back, I just said, guys, see? So my boss told me, okay, let's wait, Batman. You have 1 month to re-verify all of them. And I told him, you are going to make this man richer and richer and richer, but he's also not stupid. Like Larry Modo, he eventually got his verification back because man, this guy is a businessman. At the end of the day, you see what's not good for you in this region. But the fact is, if you're not verified on Twitter, expect drop in engagement, restricted video views. You're a ghost among people that have actually paid entrance fee.
You're jumping into nyege
For free. Exactly. You're not in VVIP, man. You're in Kayola. So, man, it's painful to watch, but I need to study this for 6 months.
So you're placing yourself for it?
Yeah, because I know, I believe that something is going to change soon or something. Or in case I'm wrong, I go ahead and pay for it. But I love their group package. It's amazing that if you guys are giving all your documents and all those things and pay this a particular amount of money and you get that group thing and you get that tick plus Yoka logo to the side, that's beneficial to big brands. And I encourage all of them, especially the franchises, the KFCs, the Next Medias and what, to invest in that. We may not have the money right now to subscribe to something that ballistic, but the truth is, that's the way to go. For, like you're seeing the MTNs, all of them are verified like that. Like the Real Madrids, they have that special offer. But because they benefit the platform a lot more than, now me, who am I, among the millions of people on Twitter, you get, those are the kinds of things. Because there are times when you check Elon Musk's account, there's no tick. And you're like, what is this guy cooking? What is this guy cooking? Next day, there's a group. Something. So, let's wait and see.
So, we're about to go. These lights are going so much on you. So, one of the best interesting campaigns I have seen, try to replicate, was what Volvo did in 2012.
Yeah.
They did it at the Super Bowl. Where they told all the cars, all the advertisers, whenever they see any other car advertiser, you just run to your Twitter, tweet on the hashtag, and you will give you a Volvo. Yeah. So, I've been on pressure with some people I work with, right?
Yeah.
On things like that, trending, whatnot.
Trending.
Yeah, trending, involvement, and so that campaign was cool. It worked. Like, people really worked and it trended.
Yeah.
Have you done any now? Because of course now you have like a bigger experience. You've also been advertising or something. Have you done any of those cool things in real time and you see something like that? And achieve something like that. Apart from the drama you give us, the Samsung Kasumbas and what. Apart from that.
By the way, off the record, sometimes those guys go off script and they just ruin my day. Like they just.
And you just switch up that phone.
I'd be like, my guy, why have you done this? You get it? So again, the strategy you go for from the beginning can come back to bite you. That's one thing I've learned. If you go sensational, the people you've taught how to do it are going to get addicted to it. Daniel Uta is an example. They'll get addicted to that kind of news.
Like the notifications coming in pop up.
Yeah, so it really is addictive. That's a fact. Social media fame is dangerous. Someone really needs to do like therapy session for so many people, because I look at guys when they've lost their accounts and they're devastated, and I'm like, yo, dude, start a new one. I understand what you're going through, but you could start a new one. But that the dopamine is insane. That small filter bubble that you've created, that kind of influence is addictive and is very deadly. It's psychotic. Guys don't understand that it's worse than cocaine right now.
True.
There are people you see with over 700K that wake up and maybe their phone is frozen and they are wondering, is their account gone? Those people exist and they really need help. Trust me on that.
I agree.
I've seen the horrific sides of it.
I agree. I've seen that documentary on Netflix that really has people who have researched that.
And it's the same thing with that discussion on status, WhatsApp status.
Exactly.
Yeah. So some viral campaigns that I've worked on. From agency side, it was a Salaplesa thing. I really loved it. It went viral for me because I was happy that it brought in actual money. I proved myself right. I was like, we can actually make money. I was tired of feeling the smaller business unit who gets like a 5 million budget. I became happy. Another thing I've done it was in a gaming community. It was for the Call of Duty Mobile. Activision and Call of Duty and Mountain Dew Global reached out to me, and I did something with them for Call of Duty Mobile. But it went viral. So many gaming communities in Africa reached out to me and said, how did you do this? And I told him, luck, first of all. Secondly, because I post about this thing consistently. The other one would be, again, it was in the civic space. It was games and politics, something I did with CAS, GSIZ, and then Games and Politics International, where I did an exhibition for gamers, and it went viral in Germany. Get it? But because the guys that were communicating were not allowed to tweet about it a lot because of some of the games are LGBTQ, bitchy, things like that. So that message could only go that side. And then some of them had Holocaust stuff, and in Germany there's Holocaust denial and things like that. You're not allowed to talk about it unless you're from those regions. So a couple of those things. The rest of them outside Next Media that have been part of on the quieter side, I would say would be the treasure hunt thing that we did with Nile Breweries. It was amazing. I loved it. The website hack thing also was good, that they've hacked this guy's website, etc. And then, okay, I can actually unleash this right now because I'm no longer the head of digital marketing anyway. There's a thing that we did with Caritas and Ronnie MacVex. That was never real. That was just fabricated to promote that. Yeah. But because we knew if you dangle something in front of feminists, they're going to come and tear you apart. So we said, we need awareness about Caritas right now. Let's do that thing. The other thing we did was Posha and Zahara Toto flexing in studio. Never real. Those guys are really good people. But we figured that period, there had been so many flexing things on the TL. I said, let's give them one more so that we talk about these things. So these things, by just food for thought, these things only work if your model of people trust you or give you the creative rights to do certain things. I would never recommend these things for an MTN or an Airtel. It will be very bad for your PR. But because we know we are the opinion leaders, we will sway you in a different way. We can go and risk like that. Yeah, but beyond that, my all-time...
design on telling us lies.
It is what it is. It is what it is. But my all-time favorite viral campaign of all time is the Dove one. Dove. What Dove did with women of different races and colors and skin. That one of the mirror. For me,
that was really
if there's anyone that ever understood an assignment, it was those guys. I really loved that thing, and it's because it touched me, because I've never been comfortable with my body at some point. Then I got comfortable with it. I was never comfortable. I never felt adequate around my classmates, like because of the schools I went to, until I became like it made sense to me. And as a man, I said, man, you know what? I'll never forget Dove for doing that. I don't use the product, but I know they thought about the consumer at the end of the day. So that's how it those are the ones that I would pick out.
Seeing as you're a big fan of YouTube, right? Do you believe in see how Chef Ramsey sells his kitchens?
Yeah.
He does the YouTube content.
Yeah.
Then you're intrigued, right? Into visiting a restaurant.
Yeah.
Do you think it can work here where you're selling, let's say, a restaurant through just YouTube? Because you see, there's not so much you can do right now, right? Like you said it in the beginning. Right now, CMOs are chosen, basically.
You must have that skill.
Right? Because it's the measurable type of marketing that you can actually quantify.
True.
And
thank you. That word quantify is very important. There is evidence now. Yeah, I think, trust me, it does work. Me personally, I know I'm not just the only one. There are so many people that consume YouTube and video. I know. And by the time me who thinks about it technically and thinks of the pros and cons and every small detail, I know that there are a million other people that are easily swayed, and that's why you mentioned them immediately. It works. There's a reason as to why Disney will do a teaser trailer, reveal trailer, trailer 1, last trailer. The biggest brand on the globe when it comes to media is doing that for a reason, because they know after that thing, and they tweet fastest trailer to 20 million views, they're twisting something in your brain to tell you, I must buy premiere tickets immediately. And it works. Same thing. You try it out and do teasers, because you have a lot of nice snippets from your from videos, from people's conversations that you must drop. Give them time to marinate and make someone run. Make someone run there and then consume it. Same thing. You're going to find yourself reaching a point, like when YouTube Studio comes to Africa, to Uganda. You're going to find yourself reaching a space whereby you're going to do a meet and greet or a live podcast at a location where people are going to come and listen in and talk. Yesterday I was at Indira at an amazing event, and the organizer said, we don't want anyone to stream or take photos of videos because this is an intimate session. And by the time it ended, I said, wow. And I remember I last saw this during COVID with Dave Chappelle. He's the master of these things.
Yeah.
Dave, he used to invite people to his barn and do this stand-up for those particular people. And you
And
never
even
see a
Kevin
clip.
did at his home.
Exactly.
Not
And you never receive a clip or anything. But the words you hear about it, you're like, the next one, if they ever do one, I'll be there.
That guy's doing that. The underground Kampala. I don't know if you know this.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. So that thing works. And the thing is, me, I black out the noise. I love to do this a lot. I see people like Kojo. They are critics. They do a lot of critiquing. Kojo is my boy. But most times what I try to do is this. I don't like to disagree with people's opinions. I just don't accept people that put people's brands and livelihoods at risk. Because there's an example I'll give you. There's a month ago, before the rugby finals, there's a guy who had put my job at jeopardy. Because I'd been known as the face of digital at Next Media, someone went and fabricated a tweet about Mojosi and Esther. They are dating, a fake tweet. They changed their account, made their logo NBS and etc. The tweet went viral. Now I'm doing Game Plus, I'm on air, 9. I receive phone calls from unknown numbers. I'm like, oh, what's up? When I go into a break, I get out. I try to call the number back, nothing. I think they realize now I'm back on. They call me and say, what's your name? Danze. Are you at Next Media? I'm saying yes. We're at your desk in marketing. I'm like, huh? So I go down from studio. I find some gentleman there. I work in media, so I just figured, okay, this is this. So I knew something was wrong. So they talk to me, Richie, do you have access to these accounts? Yes, I do. I open my Twitter, I show them. Then they tell me, this is going around and it's not a good thing. Of course, I said, okay, let me try and help figure out who this is. Then the guys told me, I need you to know that your job is this and that this platform that you have is very powerful. So, at the end of the day, it is your fault. In my head, I'm like, of course I can't respond to this, whoever these guys are, but I realized the gravity of the matter. So I sat back and I said, someone sat down and fabricated a tweet they didn't think about the admin. They got this 15 minutes of fame. Their tweet went viral. They actually involved another influencer who may have a boyfriend who may have had their relationship issues, and this makes things worse. Now, me, I have a daughter, I have a family, a wife, I have my parents who I take care of. If I lose my job, that's the ripple effect of this entire chain. So that's why sometimes I go very hard and I'm steadfast when it comes to people that are going to do something that could risk someone's livelihood or even life. You know the country we live in. Some people are very...
impulsive.
Impulsive, exactly. So I sat back, it ruined my entire day. I sat down and I said, what if they actually hadn't talked to me? What if I had vanished? What if I had disappeared? You get it? So me, that's where I draw the line. Like, trust me, I'm a troll.
The thing is, me, where I don't agree with the kind of feedback people like Kojo give, and in no disrespect, it's first of all not actionable feedback. It's so based around feeling. I think you look like this, like this, you're not even telling someone something about what they are doing. You're just putting personal feelings and you're throwing them there. So to me, it disgusts me whenever I see it. Like, okay.
And I'm happy. I'm happy you feel like that, because many people, man, it's go hard or go home, or this kind of thing of petty is the new cool, guys. You're going to reach a certain age.
You master of that pitching.
Yeah, I keep quiet and I say, man, because you guys, I looked at my 2011 tweets and I said, who is this person? This is not Danze. It's impossible.
As a whole troll.
Exactly. You look at a tweet and you're so disgusted by how disconnected from reality, how insensitive you are. And like, sometimes I wish I had an opportunity to apologize to those people, but it's too late. But
me, I've gone to some and like, okay, really.
Some, yes, some that are willing to. But the problem is, man, me, I know I'm a late bloomer, and I go through growth from my relationships to my work to everything else. Me, I always know that things will work because I believe I can get there. But the problem is, right now we're in a fast-paced world, and social media is literally a stamp. It's a tattoo that you've put on yourself. Even if you delete the tweet, some chica has kept the screenshot somewhere, or that person that you've damaged will never move on.
Someone is in some version of Twitter that
thank you. Or WhatsApp status. So, man, I sit back and I'm like, you know what? Like, for example, I look at Kojo and I'm like, sometimes I try to engage, other times I don't. Like, there's a tweet that he put out there that really bothered me, and I reached out to him and I said, dude, really, man? My G, why would you do this? he acted like, no, he hadn't meant to do that. What? But then I realized, you know what? I've been in that space. I know the addiction of having that virtual approval from people and people encouraging you to do stuff. I know how that feeling is. So me, I understand. Like I called him out and I just said, man, this wasn't cool. It puts me in a very weird light because it was a tweet about it was about work, sleeping with someone, things like that. The tweet was quite weird and you could know it was clearly directed at this person. So I took the tweet in, I consumed it, I shared my feedback and I said, we are cool. Because me, I know I have been in that space. I'm atoning for certain things right now in life. Maybe for a tweet I made a long time ago that now it has happened to me.
But and it comes even this speaking. There's Joe
full circle.
They brought back podcast to when he was like on episode 20 saying some bullshit. The one is on episode 2000.
Exactly.
Not episode 20.
Yeah, man, it's insane. It has happened to the best of us, but if you can learn from these things now, do. Because me, I felt like where I am right now, I've learned, but I know I'm learning a lot more. Something is going to change in me later on because I have personal issues. I have my insecurities. I know they are there, but I'm happy I've reached a stage in my life whereby I look at them every morning and I say, so get off your high horse and do this. Add this to yourself.
The first preference you made was Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Actually putting in the work.
True, man. I mean,
on the feedback bit, now let's go in the technical bit.
Yeah.
Now, in the digital marketing world, right? Feedback, a lot of people's feedback is personalized onto feeling. Even people want to lead to trend, even artworks. When someone looks at it, I don't like color purple. You're like, come on, man. Like there's patterns and there's understandings and there's all this, right? And there's so many people detached away from the actual data to just how they would like something. Like a guy can tell you something on this light. I wish these flaps were made over to like twist.
And
Okay, but then this is the type of feedback people give in general. The people that consume whatever we How do you go about feedback?
Remember, I put out a tweet saying, are we still in the era of the logo should be bigger?
Those things.
Because someone blew my mind at work. They blew my mind. I looked at them and I looked at the feedback and I asked them, without that tweak you've suggested, does this still communicate? The answer was yes. And I told them, do you think this can then pass? They said yes. But because of what you've just said, they still said, put that here. And I just said, Danze, end of the day, you're but an employee.
True.
Execute.
Yeah.
You get it? Yeah. So this is how I deal with it. You need to earn the right to say something and people take your word for it. Yeah. You need to earn that right. That's why I brought up that thing of it's important for me to get a couple of papers here and there. I believe in Uganda right now, I'm the most well-trained digital marketer because of the opportunities I've had with BBC, VOA, Deutsche Welle, Warner Bros, a bit of Disney, and stuff I've done with Fox. Well-trained. Hadn't, because I've been pushed in the deeper end, people have rubbished my stuff, people have appraised it. So I believe I have the rapport in certain regions. But I also believe that because I'm a Ugandan living in Uganda, in Kampala, I still have to prove myself in certain things. That's why if you've noticed, I'm rarely in those digital workshop spaces with things what to talk what. Not because I don't rate them, but because I believe I'd rather be called when they feel that I will add value then. Right now I'm in the civic space. Right now I'm in the spaces, I don't know, Abbas Mpindi. He calls me to talk to his fellows for MCI journalists and things like that. The media space people really reach out to me. Sexual reproductive health people call me to talk because they know I know how to do behavior change communications and things like that. So I'm in those spaces. There, I've earned their trust. So every time I say a journalist should do this, the younger journalists, they listen to me, they believe me. When I just joined in 2017 and I will talk to the Kasumbas and what, they wouldn't respect me, but I didn't expect them to because they didn't know the capabilities I had. They didn't know that I could go to these platforms, to these spaces and all those things. So I had no right to expect that. Now, how I deal with clients is I have to prove my worth. There's a time Frank Mutusi told me sometime we went to is it Golden Tulip? There's that place that had the revolving next to Garden City. Golf course hotel, and Sima Sorry, not Sima. The chick of Blue Flamingo is for. That you know her. She's the owner, Blue Flamingo. So she was speaking, and my friend, I realized that I am not yet there. She spoke things I know, but I was never going to deliver them the way she's delivering them. I said, wow, this is this. So in me, I didn't feel jealous. I said, this is me in a couple of years. Let me be her understanding from far, because I'm never ever going to get into a space because we're competing agencies. But she spoke, she said things, she talked about media buying, what be the basics of back in the day. But I knew them here, just that they would never come out. Then Frank told me, Danze, you see your competition? I said, clearly I see her. And the fact that now I believe I can hold that space and that podium and say these things, and I've been able to say them to CEOs, the state, and they've listened to me. Most times when I come back, and that's why I tell guys, it's important that your bio defines who you are, because people will respect you for that in the field that you're in. So I came back right now. By the time the owner of Next Media, a man with multiple businesses, successful like that, by the time he agrees or respects my creative thought, I feel like I'm okay in certain senses. But because I've had to earn it, because someone at that magnitude, someone at that stature, being on a call with let's say an exec from Warner Bros or something like that, and they say, do you believe this strategy will work? And I'm like, yes, I guarantee you it will. And they say yes, and it actually works. You've earned your stripes. So I believe people need to earn their stripes for people to stop giving them absurd feedback. Because, like, man, you're in the creative space. Sometimes a guy can come and criticize your, like, sometimes I come on people's podcasts and videos and I tell them, amazing, but let's tweak the audio. Let's make sure the audio levels are low, because I know.
The beginning, even with this one, I think you're one of those very people.
Exactly, because I remember being on another round when I'm earning my straps as a producer for the first time, and the Gaetanos are really hard on me and what. They were hard but very supportive. I've never worked with the cast and crew we were so experienced that they don't care who you are, but they know your boss because you're the producer. Those are two guys I really value them for that.
Hey. That went viral for Posha.
Hey.
She's talking about some women and men relationship. So it goes viral. Then everything is on point. She's beautiful. She's making sense. You can then some guy came. That was should change shirts. That shirt is too big. Guy.
Yeah, so man, that's the truth is, it's crazy. And earn your stripes, you'll earn the people's respect in the industry. But also remember, man, you should aim. My friend Raymond Malinga told me he went to LA recently and came back and told me he had been seeing himself here in Uganda, but where it matters on the scene where he's playing, he said he's actually here, but he's aiming to be here, so that by the time he's that high on the global scene, imagine how high he will be on the local scene. So that's the kind of mentality you need to have in yourself. There's this kind, like, sorry to say this, but a friend of John Babiru Mukam always mentions this thing, and I read it sometime. I saw a list of Elevate marketing heads and Matt Bichi, a list of the best people, and I said, but this person is not there. This person is not there. When I read John's thingy and I saw that he set up NBS's digital, I said, dude, move on. Move. It's 2020, 2021. How is that still in your bio? And I sat back and I asked myself, do a critique of yourself, Danze. What have you done? What are you going to be proud of this year compared to the other year and like that? Okay? So most times I be there and I ask guys, you need to be known for something tangible. Like when people, like for example, they know you for this. It doesn't matter how big it is or whatever it is. There's evidence for you that you have done. And that's a fact. I'm happy that your stuff, your conversations are superseding you. That's how it should be. That's why I'm happy that NBS is bigger than who I am. But at some point in time, I'm happy when I sit back and I say, my work is there.
I had this burning conversation about employment and what, but the 1 hour and something minutes to spend on this podcast has changed everything I wanted to ask you about that. In a way that, of course, I've had a few friends here and there. I've actually also had a cousin telling me, yeah, man, that's selective at work. Like the office politics anywhere. Yeah, like me, I call that petty feedback. Fact. Guy, you're just saying things. I actually had someone on this podcast. Then they said, they said very many things. So I told them, okay, but maybe you did not prove your value.
Thank you.
And that's the only thing you've said all through this podcast.
You must.
It was about how much this is adding to you, right? How much space you speak on it, like, okay, I went into this space and there were all these opportunities. I just uncovered all of them.
True. Yeah, like that's the honest truth. Many people will leave Next Media and say certain things. I left Fireworks with a certain
mishap somewhere.
Yeah, like I felt cheated. Like by the time I left, I wasn't paid how much money I deserved to be paid. That's what I felt. But then, after a while, I asked myself, what did you do to deserve this? You were in that situation for a reason. No one, like, I was indispensable. They felt like they needed me. But I'd become so toxic because of my personal thought. I felt the importance of, I'm one of the best digital guys in the country. I've handled these accounts by myself for the longest period of time. They will suffer without me. I go to NBS, different field. The accounts did suffer. They've never really recovered those Pepsi accounts and etc. And I'm not happy about it. I could have done something about it. Yeah, exactly. I would have trained the next person to make sure that they did this. But I realize that most people are still going to leave because they have their own brain. They have their own mind. Remember, we as human beings are selfish. We are designed to survive. That's the fact. Yeah, to make money and survive. You get it? I'm here with my own agenda speaking. You also have your own agenda speaking. And that's why me, by the time someone is able to tweet about me and say things about me, I speak about them freely. Like, for example, look at Blaze. Blaze left NBS, left Next Media.
I also don't agree with
this. I found him at Next Media. He left. Exactly. Like, the constant patronizing of the place you left. I always have one rule. When you break up with someone, let it go. You come off as clingy or desperate when you keep on mentioning. Because the truth is this. There are some level-headed people at Next Media that would see that stuff and say, let him be. He has all rights to say what he wants to say because it's his public platform. The first time I joined in 2017 in NBS, because I was Team Mountain Dew, Team Pepsi, what? I used to bash Reham because I know they were replicating people's looks and feel. But nigga, that's what they want to do. Now they have a huge market share. Later on, I asked myself, Danze, if you could go back in time, would you have tweeted that? Hell no. Get it? Because now I'm more aware of the consequences of certain things that people. Like I put out a tweet about who would be the best influencer as a radio presenter. No one asked me why I did. They just went on the offensive and said influencers can't be radio presenters. Which is
not even true.
Yes, no one owns radio presenting.
Exactly.
No one.
What do you mean?
Thank you. Now for me, who has gone.
That is one of the things I'm very established.
So I saw Blaze's tweet. Sorry, I saw someone brought the tweet to me. I looked at it and I said, yes, you have merit. It's your personal opinion, but you need to give these kids a chance. Rodende then goes in my DMs and tells me, Danze, influencers, radio presenting should be for radio presenters. And I told him, that's your opinion. But think of it this way. Timothy Code is a hell of a presenter. No one gave him a chance at Next Media. He was there first. I could see it. Code is ballistic. Code is built for media.
He's built for that shit.
Exactly. So thank you. So I will tell guys, give Code a chance. Code is amazing.
Totally.
Get it? He's on Sanyu. He's killing it. Because some of us saw it. But then I told him, how come Code is killing it? But he has been trained. Then I told him, do you think you can get an influencer and train them? So he said yes. Then I said, so my tweet has merit. You get it? They have so many examples. No one ever asked whether this is a campaign, whether this is something as research and things like that. But I wanted to know who are those people that have the ability to become a media personality out of this influencer stuff. Because I'm planning ahead. What if next year I need to do something like a program or I need to recommend someone somewhere? Get it? That's my thought process. And I believe that personal opinion on those platforms is very okay. The truth is you need to be Ask the old generation, old Twitter. Me, I consider myself as part of old Twitter and new Twitter. But old Twitter, I remember they were, in digital marketing science, we call it echo chambers and filter bubbles. People are so stuck in their small filter bubbles that every time you bust it and they get out, they are just like moving out of this place naked, and I run to the main road. You get it? Most times I use sports as an example. When your team has won, you're going to watch those highlights and other teams' highlights. When your team has lost, you don't even want to watch the highlights. You don't want to remember anything. You don't even want to see your rivals' highlights thrive. Politics, because I work in media, diverging political opinions are so dangerous. Diverging religious opinions are so dangerous to a point of death occurs. You get it? That people need to understand that if you're a radio presenter and you've been in the game for a very long time, props to you, man. You've done your thing for a very long time. But eras change. Media is evolving. This like so people laughed at someone who tweeted Tsimanya spaces are going to take over radio. They had that thought at that point because the world was moving that fast. I want you to tell me any radio station or any radio show that is bigger than Joe Rogan's podcast. They will never exist. Why? Because he moved early into a space. Do you get it? So that was the whole idea behind that thing. And I wish people would just open their minds.
I've constantly seen it as well, on how people want to give feedback by relating to previous successes without actually giving us numbers of if this is success or not, but one feeling. Oh no, a picture where they're using a picture like my guy, okay? But that is not what proves success or not. There's a whole behind the scenes we need to understand for us to get into your opinion, whether you're right or not. It's just not saying, for us to did this thing and it's fine. But now, how are you defining this success? How are you defining your success?
Yeah, and man, you're your own person. You have your own struggles and fights. I'm also my own person. I have my own struggles and fights. And people really, they close that. There's something I told my wife. Like sometimes when you're talking in relationships, like maturity, I've grown slowly when it comes to relationships for like back in the day. I remember my first girlfriend in O-level in Budo. She would do some things that were light years ahead of me. Like I would never hold hands, I never do that stuff. Because to me at that point, those things are not in my system. But later on you catch up. It's the same thing about guys, chicks that are smaller, then they become busty as they grow. Things like that. Just people forget that actually that's how life is. Yeah. Get it? But the more they keep on remembering that change is subjective to, even cells grow different. That's why you see these mutations and what. Change is very subjective to the environment that you're in. So if you've grown up thinking that this is how things are supposed to be, you're entitled to that opinion, and I believe so, do you? But remember, you've been put into a community of the rest of other people. You need to figure out how to live with the rest of them.
Exactly. I feel like people are just not informed enough to know maybe how to deliver public message now when it's really important in terms of feedback. And people read as gurus. And you're like, okay, now for you, if you want to state your opinion like that, it should actually really carry the weight. When you just personalize it on how you feel, on how you did what you
did. Man.
We respect you. We supported you in that time, and there is that. At some point, when I was still doing the Makita games, and after now, I was talking to Loba, I was telling him, you see, I used to think I'm a big influencer, but now look at kids. They have these numbers and they push.
Yes.
Right? It's different. It's really different. For me, I'm just gambling around how I can work around it. It's different. People have different formulas. You just have to restudy them and understand. But if you hold back in that space of, I'm the guy, radio maybe is for us, or that type of way, because you're going to send a few tweets there when you have papers of planning. Like, guy, okay, I'm planning on my tab. It's okay if you're writing books down. That is not how it is.
Yeah, man. You actually remind me of Makita, but the thing is, you have something to reference, and that's very important. It's a lot more important to have something to reference than nothing to. And that's the comment I always make about people that always try to live on past glories. Manchester United, historic clubs. Yes, what have you done now? You get it? You've actually, these conversations actually just make me I reevaluate a couple of things here and there, and just always makes me wonder. I remember this whole time when legacy tweet verification things were being taken away, and I was already aware that they were going to go. It was inevitable. I mean, it's Elon Musk's platform. He's a businessman. And I saw people celebrating. I saw people doing what? Referencing old tweets, etc. In my head, I'm like, I actually had my moment then. It existed. I have tangible evidence of me saying something and what, get it? I did that culture. I made people experience that thing of being verified. Because for the longest time, getting legacy verification was quite tricky. Yeah. Until I hacked the system and I understood how it works. I said, I'll figure it out. When I did, I was like, I was happy about it. Many people reached out to me, like even Ignited. Came to my inbox a long time ago and tried to haggle something in order to get verification. And I think people misunderstand text. They don't know the tonality you're using. They don't know whether
people really misunderstand.
They don't, like, especially when you're talking to like your lover or something. They'll misunderstand what you're saying. They think you're shouting, you're arguing, yet you're actually calmly just trying to say something. And most times I've realized myself, every time I see the conversation is deviating, I let it go. And I say, maybe I'll just talk to this person, I'll call them, you get it? So when I saw people celebrating about legacy accounts going away and things like that, in my head I'm like, one, I'm going to note all of them, see who these people are, and understand who was actually pained or hurt and things like that. And then if I ever get a chance, like now this opportunity has come, to explain it and say that the reason as why those people were celebrating, saying, Danze, thank you for the verification and etc., was because, one, first of all, I never charged anyone any money, because I believe social media must be for everyone. Me, that's my rule. Whenever I'm doing a training somewhere, and I ask, who am I talking to? What are they? What do they need? And I find that the need is there. I do it for free. Always. When I see it's consultancy about work and things like that, and I ask them, do you think you can pay me? And they say, yeah, this amount. I give them my rate card, and they're like, they can afford it. Those that can't, I always tell them, I'll try my best to give you what I can with this knowledge at that amount. But sometimes I do all these things for free. Not a single person ever paid me. And I was happy with that achievement, because I said, Danze, I used to take screenshots of everyone and say, I've achieved this. This is my work. I've done this. That is the payment I ever wanted. You get it? Now, and I have this saying of those are material things. I say that a lot, and I'm happy that it has actually sunk in my head, that I'm not obsessed about money, what, and all those things.
You've made a lot of it now. That's
I feel like God is going to reward me inevitably, and I'm waiting for those opportunities to come to me. And that's why I talk about the luck thing. The luck thing may just be the universe saying, let's give this guy his due, because he has done this thing. He deserves to get this thing back. You get it? So I wait. I be patient. I think people need to know that you're 20, you're going to be 30 at some point, then you'll be 40. This fame that you've had online for a long time, putting out a tweet, showing your ass, doing what, muscles, your car, things like that. Everyone is entitled to post what they want. But you need to think about 2 years from now, 3 years from now, what may happen. What will your kiddos say? Like, the blueprint is going to get worse. This stuff is archived. I went through my Twitter archives. Again, I just keep on saying it, and I'm like, dude, this was just 3 years ago. Imagine the change you've had now. Imagine how horrible that person is. Because I would have never been boys with Danze then. No way. No way. Yeah.
Danze. What sort of legacy do you want to leave behind? Usually this is like the last question.
The last question,
you have,
no, definitely same. Legacy. When I was starting mentorship with Keen, he asked me what my Ikigai is. Like, what do you stand for? And I told him I want to be more. Why I said more is because I do not know where I'm going to be next year or next month. Because I always leave room open for opportunities, especially life improvement. Right now, this year, I'm working on networking with different types of networks and people. Last year, I was working on personal branding. You get it? So, but I always know that I want to be more. Every time I do a presentation and I feel like I could have added that thing, I always want to know, I always want to feel that way forever. I want to know that I could have said this better, always, forever. That's the legacy I want to leave behind. I don't want to, it's okay to be a nobody. It's okay to be an average Joe, but have something that people will reference and say, oh yeah, that was done by that guy. That's the thing I want. That's my legacy right now. I want to have improved someone. There are a bunch of kids I'm mentoring. There's a tweet I've pinned on my Twitter for the longest time. I reach out to those people one by one here and there because I'm trying to build something. But I want to teach them that it's okay to be where you are.
Wait, how do we join the mentorship thing?
There's something I want to unleash. There's something I want to push out there. Get it? But I want to push it out there when I have earned the right to. Get it? Very, very soon it's almost done. So being more for me means being able to improve myself if I fail to improve anyone else. Or better the way I speak, or better the work I do. Things like that. By the time I leave Next Media, for example, I want to live now. The people say Danze left this change. That's the kind of thing I look out for. Yeah.
Great, man. Thank you. Thank you. I'll call you back when there are improvements and things we can talk about.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I can have so many conversations with you.
Yeah, true.
That gaming thing, but this time and this later.
Yeah, no worries. No, I'm available.
Yeah.
But truth is, just my last word to you, Mark, is me. This thing that you're doing, and Desire said this to me. Me, I'm just happy your clips are moving ahead of you. Don't outrun your content. Let your content go ahead of you. That character that is in those clips, let them be known more than you. Yeah. It's very important because at the end of the day, no one gives a shit who you are. No one cares who I am. People are actually obsessed about what Next Media does and etc., which I'm happy about. Get it? So this product that you're doing, I can't say be patient. Just maintain, because you guys are consistent. Because I mean, a bigger space of this digital thing now in Africa, and I know what's coming. So just get ready to laugh at guys.
That's it, man.
And yeah, thank you for having me, man.
Thank you. Any opportunity still, me, I'm here.
Yeah, most def.
Thank you.